What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So, I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I would think so. It's been pretty dry for the last few months, right? I was myself personally really waiting for the big fall games to start coming out, and so right now I just didn't really know what to play. I went back to a couple of games, it wasn't really feeling that. I was really waiting for those fall games to hit, and all of a sudden here is Hellblade. The game started getting great reviews, but it was never really on my radar. You know, some people did tell me about it and that I really needed to keep my eye on it, but I just never really did. I do remember I watched the announcement back at like Gamescom 2014 and it looked pretty cool. Has a, you know, quite popular developer behind it, Ninja Theory, who made, you know, Enslaved and the DMC reboot and stuff, which were all, you know, kind of like hit or miss projects, I guess, because Enslaved was a game that I think didn't really sell well, despite being pretty good. DMC was a good game as well, but got critiqued a lot from the real Devil May Cry fans, you know what I mean? So it's a, you know, it's a developer that has talent for sure, but that never really, I guess, managed to make games that were overall very well received, you know what I mean? So yeah, now, you know, pretty much Hellblade came out and I decided to get it after seeing those great reviews, and you know, I've beaten the game now. It's very short, costs only like 30 euros, $30, but yeah, it can be beaten in around 7 hours maybe. But you know, what an awesome experience that was. Really, this so far to me is the surprise game of 2017. I've really been having a blast with it, and I would totally recommend people to get it for sure. Let's actually, yeah, get into the review, right? So, you know, the story of Hellblade, I really don't want to spoil too much. The gameplay I'm going to show you in this video is probably from the first hour of it or something, because really this is something that you gotta experience yourself. It's about a character, Senua, who has this mental illness. You can tell that from the get-go. She hears voices in her head, and what is so awesomely done about it is the fact that the game kind of like not just recommends you, but almost forces you to play the game with earpieces, with earphones, because you're gonna be hearing these voices talk to you, and sometimes you need them to pretty much, you know, find out where you need to go, right? So yeah, you put in your earpieces, you hear them left and right, back and forth, different voices as well, different characters in the world. And that is just a super unique experience. It almost makes you feel yourself like you've got that literally, you know, mental illness and stuff, which is definitely, you know, very interesting to experience, I would say. Now, her objective is pretty unclear, and I'm not going to get into that too much, I guess, but you see from the beginning, she's carrying this head or whatever of somebody she cares for that died, and what she wants to do is she wants to reach pretty much a certain, you know, a part, certain location where she can bring that head at rest and yeah, bring a friend at rest, I guess, that way, right? That's kind of like the objective of the game, although you of course also realize that the objective is to try and understand what exactly is going on with her mental illness, and if she can manage to somehow overcome all of her fears and, you know, all the problems she's pretty much got going on into her world. Now, that story setup is great. Trust me, this is a very story-driven experience as well, with plenty of cutscenes, and just overall it tells an awesome story that is definitely worth experiencing, where by the time I reached the ending of it, you know, I was not maybe blown away or something, but I was definitely super curious, and I thought it was pulled off very well. A little confusing at times, and I definitely needed to, you know, look up some stuff afterwards where I was like, did I actually really completely get it and stuff? But it turned out, yeah, I pretty much did. And overall, you know, this is something I'm gonna be remembering for a long time for sure, and I really thoroughly enjoyed myself with the story of this game. Now, I do want to put a quick warning out there, without spoiling too much once again, is that the game at the end, of course this is about mental illness, right? But at the end, like, it became almost creepy to me. I had certain parts of the game that I did not enjoy getting through, because it was legit just scary to me, really. And I am very bad with horror games. A lot of people will know that about me. This game is gonna put you in some situations that are pretty tense, and so I just found myself taking a break maybe every hour or two or something, because it was just too much. You've got these voices talking to you, you've got very creepy things going on in the background and stuff, and in the locations you're at. It's a tense experience. It's not something that you play, you know, it's not something where the first word that comes to my mind when I would describe the game is fun or something. It's just interesting, it's intriguing. That's really what this game is, and that's what I loved about it. Now, you can already tell by the gameplay, but the graphics are absolutely gorgeous. This game looks fantastic. It's also a game that actually makes me, you know, one of the few games that make me kind of happy to own a PS4 Pro, because, you know, the game plays in like 60 60 frames on the Pro, and I definitely recommend you to play that way if you've got a Pro. But even otherwise, in 30 FPS and the graphics in itself on a standard PS4, absolutely gorgeous game. The animations are awesome too. You know, the lip sync and the voice work, it's all done, you know, just almost perfectly well. The presentation of this game is mind-blowing, and it's for a small project and stuff, it could almost not be better, I would say. Yeah, on the PlayStation 4, of course, the game also comes out on PC, so you can play it there too if you want to. Now then, when we get to the gameplay, I guess that's kind of where, you know, it's not necessarily a negative aspect of the game, but the gameplay does have some issues, right? I would say the biggest issue with the gameplay is kind of that it's just a little bit too basic. It has this very typical formula, especially in the beginning, where you know it's gonna kind of be, you know, you get into a room, you get a certain puzzle that you need to do, which is all about finding a certain sign in the environment and stuff for the most part. Then when you do that, you get a little combat section with a couple of enemies, then you get a cutscene, and it's pretty much rinse and repeat. Now the game, you know, does kind of like add a little bit more variety and a little bit more unexpected stuff as you get deeper into it, right? But especially the first few hours, I felt that way. It just felt a little bit repetitive. The puzzles also sometimes just take a little bit too long, right? Like I said, these puzzles really are about, for the most part, you get to a certain gate, it shows you some signs that you can that you have to find in the world, and then how you do that is by simply exploring your environment. You'll get a hint that you're close to the certain sign, right? And then you look in your environment, and maybe you'll see that the lighting is like positioned perfectly to the point where you can recognize that logo in it, or you have to maybe, you know, like pull a lever here and there, and just do the typical standard puzzle stuff to make sure you're finally able to move on, right? And like I said, when you get to the combat, it's also it's very basic. You pretty much have a light attack, a heavy attack, you can kick guys, break their defense that way, parry and dodge, and that's pretty much all that it comes down to. But it is done super satisfying. Like, it feels great to actually do the combat parts in this game. And even though I felt like I mastered it maybe 2 or 3 hours in, and then the remaining 4 hours that I still had left, it just felt like I was doing more of the same. It was awesome to play. You know, the animations are super satisfying. You really feel that you're hitting your enemy. Running at them is just an awesome feeling that it gives you. So overall, the combat, it is basic. There's not a whole lot to it, but it is very fun. And every time a combat section did occur, you know, I thought that was pretty cool, because the puzzle sections can sometimes be a little bit too long, right? I guess another really quick flaw I could mention is that there are some like abrupt cuts in between certain cutscenes, or you'll load your game and you all of a sudden see that you're like really spawned into it, everything pops up in front of you and stuff. And for a game that is that smooth in the way it normally would transition from gameplay to cutscene and stuff, that was just a little weird to see. But overall, really, like value-wise as well, I think that for 30 euros, for 30 bucks, so this game is pretty cheap, you know, a 7-hour experience is all that it really should be. And you know, like, the game didn't need to be any longer than it was, because like I said, the gameplay is a little basic, but the story that it tells is absolutely awesome. It's a great experience, and this is just a game that, yeah, like I didn't see coming. I really did not expect that I would like it as much as I did. I would totally recommend Hellblade to you, because this is the type of game, in my opinion, that we need to see more. A linear experience that doesn't overstay its welcome, and that all around is just of very high quality, right? That's really what Hellblade was to me. And so, yeah, all I can pretty much say is get this game. It's totally worth it. This is the type of game, in my opinion, that needs to be supported more, because we simply need to see these type of experiences being made more. All in all, I would give Hellblade an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely an awesome game. Make sure to check it out, or at least, you know, look up some more about it if you're interested, because this is a game that is totally worth your money. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, of course, if you played it already, because I would like to know what you thought about it too. And then for now, hope you enjoyed the video, so thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.